Welcome to Be Still and Notice, a yoga podcast. Join me, your host, yoga and meditation instructor Helen Taylor, to dive deeply into the vast ocean of wisdom that is yoga. Explore with me how these ancient practices can help heal and elevate us physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually in an ultra-modern world. Together, we'll deepen our practice, explore our connection to divinity and our own inner landscapes with the help of special guests, guided meditations, how-tos, and oh, so much more. Yoga has the incredible power to change your life on every level, and it all begins with stillness. Now let's begin. Hi everyone and welcome to episode 5, season 2. Welcome back. Today I have the lovely Katja Patel with me again, amazing yoga teacher, my yoga teacher trainer and Ayurvedic lifestyle consultant. She has over 30 years of yogic experience, shall we say. And today we thought we'd have a go at giving an overview of what the 8 limbs of yoga are. But we definitely bit off more than we could chew, because as we started talking about them and really delving deeper, we realised how many different layers and levels there are to each and every one of them. I found it to be an amazing conversation, as always, and I really hope that you do too. And we're going to do this, this is part 1 of 2, so Katja will be coming back in the next couple of weeks. In this episode, we look at the yamas and niyamas, asana, pranayama, and pratyahara. So make yourself a lovely cup of tea. If you're on a long drive, this one is perfect for that. And I really hope you like this one. Now let's get to it. Hello, lovely Katja. Here we are again.
Hello, Helen. Yes, here we are again.
How are you? How are you today?
I'm good. I'm feeling refreshed and energized.
Are you? That's amazing. On this very
I
dark,
know.
wintry, autumnal afternoon. What's making you feel so energized and refreshed today?
I don't know. It's just the day, I just get on with everything that I needed to do. And so far, everything worked sort of okay. So, so that's all. Yeah, that's it.
I love those days
Nothing specific.
when everything goes to plan, right?
Right, yeah.
Well, full disclosure, we've just had a few tech issues. We had to reboot and jig around.
That's right.
But we're here. We made it. So welcome again.
We
And
made
for anyone who hasn't listened to the previous episode, I did a really lovely episode with Katja, episode 14, season 1. I'll link it in the show notes, where we had a really beautiful conversation, and I properly introduced Katja, who still is my yoga teacher. She taught me how to be a teacher. She's an incredible teacher who's been working in yoga, teaching, learning, growing, doing all the things for 30 plus years. And she's an Ayurvedic consultant as well, all around amazing yogi. So I thought I'd invite her back on. And today we're going to be talking about the 8 limbs of yoga. So the 8 limbs of yoga. Katja,
And
can you, in a nutshell, say where they're from and what they are, and just in a nutshell?
in a nutshell, they were introduced in the Patanjali Yoga Sutras as a means to get frazzled when we have these situations that we had earlier. So if we are going with 8 limbs, then we are more balanced, and we are overcoming our obstacles that we all naturally have a little easier.
Mm,
We are naturally more, I would say, more resilient. That's probably what I think what they make us, and sort of balance out the ups and downs of our day to day life.
mm.
Yeah, so that's what I would say in a nutshell. That's what they are, sort of a roadmap.
Yeah, and I like that. And I think lots of people don't actually really even know what they are, what they mean. They know one or two of the limbs or branches, and
Yes.
several yoga books, they have a picture of a tree, don't they? They have this tree, and the
That's right.
limbs, yeah, the limbs are like the branches of the tree that actually all put together holistically create a yoga practice. So from my understanding, you really shouldn't separate any of them. It's about them all being combined for a true practice. Would you agree?
Yes, yes, absolutely. All being combined, and they seem linear, and I think they also work in that, in a sense of progression, sort of from one to the other. But I think we all need to combine them all, and into everyday life, in one way or the other. So in Ayurveda, for example, you need to have the 6 tastes all in one meal, and the best in every meal. So then you don't get cravings and anything in between, and you are well nourished. And the 8 limbs, I think they are little bit the same. So you need to include them all into your day, and not just on the mat, but also off the mat, so that so that you stay a little bit more rounded, and stress doesn't get to you so easily, or the ups and downs, like we said earlier, they are a little less um, drastic.
Yeah, totally. I think they're
Mm.
so worth talking about, because I think for me, when I first started learning about yoga, some of this stuff can seem a bit dry and a bit dusty, not very
Totally.
sexy.
No, no, not very like handstand. Oh yeah, I want to learn this. Yes.
It's not very
More
glamorous, is it?
no, no, no. They aren't. I think until you start looking at them and see how they make so much sense,
Yeah.
and then I think it is also the language that comes from the sutras haven't been translated, in that they are like 2,500 years or something like that old. And so obviously they had a different language. It was a different time.
Oh,
They used minimal words to make them more potent, and we just need to bring them more into what is relevant for us now. And then I think then we see that they make very much sense, that they help us, and that we also can do quite a lot uh, with them. and that we can integrate them quite a lot.
Yeah, absolutely. I think they're just an incredible kind of guidebook for living, really, in many ways
Mm,
for your practice. Um,
that's right.
so let's just get straight into it, shall we? So I've got them written down in front of me. Number one and number two are the yamas and the niyamas. And I've actually done a separate episode on these because I absolutely love them. But let's start with the yamas for anyone that hasn't listened to that episode. And again, I'll pop it in the show notes. So the yamas, how would you describe the yamas?
Well, the yamas are, I think they are ways how we interact with ourselves and with others. And they help us, I think, to first and foremost interact with ourselves better so that we interact with others in the
Mm.
same way. So let's say, for example, the first one, which is probably the most known one, ahimsa, which is often translated as not to harm anyone. And w- obviously, most of us are quite peaceful people in terms of sort of what means harm. We think, oh, I'm not harming anyone. But we always start with ourselves. And I think we do ourselves quite a lot of harm when we go against what we want, putting ourselves down all the time, not thinking that we are enough, good enough, any of that, that is harmful to us. And from this thinking of scarcity, we are also um, projecting that onto others, or we are not being as kind to others as we could, or we are kinder to others and still putting ourselves down.
Yeah, that's so true, isn't it?
So in that way, I think they just make us think about how we are structured, what is important to us, what do we want and really need? Do we really need things? Are we valuing what we already have?
Mm.
Or are we looking what the others have and we don't? And we get upset about that because at the end, the eight limbs are. Like we said earlier, they are sort of like a roadmap towards being more content, being more or happier with ourselves and with the life that we live.
Mm.
And I think it is quite interesting that they start or that Patanjali starts with that, not with the yoga postures,
Yeah,
but really sort of with the mental setup.
definitely. And I think that says a huge amount about what, let's use the word true yoga practice really is all about. And it's not
Yeah,
asana is number three, but then there's a whole nother four that are to do with the mind. So
yes,
asana
exactly.
is a very small part, isn't it?
It is, yes,
Mm.
yes.
And
Quite well,
important.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
An important part, absolutely, but yes, not the only part.
No, and perhaps not as important as here in the West we think it is. But we'll
Mm.
t- talk more around that, I think. So yamas and niyamas. I've also in the other episode I talked about them. They're sometimes described as the attitudes and behaviors towards
Mm.
ourselves and towards others and our environment, aren't they? And actually, they're a really beautiful kind of code to live by in all ages. Like even now, they are so relevant, aren't they?
Yeah, they are. I think they are universal, they are timeless because they address human behavior.
Yeah.
and human behavior is still the same as it was then. This is now because it's the way we are structured. It's the way the mind thinks, and the way we process that, and nothing has changed much on that.
Yeah. Absolutely.
So hence they are quite timeless, um, and because there are 5 of each, maybe, um, someone might think, "Oh, it's a bit too much, and I can't look at all of that," but I think just to maybe look at 1 or 2 and see how they can be integrated into the thinking, into the life, a more sort of as a curious way to address them, more, um, see how, what happens with me here, rather than thinking, "Oh, I need to fit them all in, and then only I can step on the mat." It is also when we are practicing asana, we can explore these very nicely when in our practice,
Mm.
how we observe ourselves, and but then also as teachers, how we see others, how we interact with others, and how we teach yoga.
Mm. It's all self-inquiry, isn't it? It's all part of
Yeah.
the ongoing practice. Yeah, and I love that you said this isn't like a set of rules, is it? It's not rules
No.
to live by. You must be like this and you must do like it's literally it's guidance. It's why not
Exactly.
try this, bring
Yeah,
this into your life. And there really are.
because they also have effects, they make us calmer, they make us more content, because when we look at them, what they really mean, um, on a long term, in our day-to-day life, contentment, santosha, for example, um, if we would always be content with what we have, it doesn't mean that we are complacent. It just means that we can still strive for something different, and we think, yeah, that would be nice to have, but still see also, and acknowledge what we have now is already quite a lot, and uh,
Yeah.
and that when we invite this contentment, that it naturally makes us, yeah, what is there more, when you're content,
Mm.
there is not much that rattles you so easily.
Yes, and then the gratitude comes through, doesn't it?
Mm,
Because when you think, okay, what do I have? And this is enough. And then I think, without even thinking about it, gratitude comes in, which is we all know is just so beautiful and so powerful in and of itself.
mm,
So they do link
yeah,
through, don't they, to these different mindsets that are just I think we can really get I think that santosha, that contentment is really important right now because we're so
mm,
graspy in our current culture and climate in the West, aren't we? Like, "Oh, what's that new shiny thing?" "I need this, I need that,
mm,
need this, I need."
yeah, yeah,
Do you really? Do
yeah,
you really need that thing?
that's right. I mean, we always had this. I think that's part of human nature, because then they had the same issues clearly. but
Yeah,
but
exactly.
I mean, we have now just a multitude of what streams into our senses, what we can
Mm,
what
yeah,
we can buy, what we have, what all of that. There's much more out there, sort of a life that we need to aspire to, a material life that we need to aspire to, a house, how that needs to look like, and if we are if we don't have that, then we come back to, we are not enough.
Yeah.
I'm not as worthy as someone else because I'm not as wealthy as someone else. And I think it is just really like they make us check in more. Is that
Mm.
really what we need? Is that really what we want as well? Because also means to present things to us get more and more sophisticated in the way they talk to us and tell us what we need and what we don't need, because very clever people are formulating these things that know the mind really well, and our
Yeah.
behavior. So they can be seen as well as just check-ins. Is that something that I need? Is that something that I need to do? Is
Mm.
that the way I need to talk? And can I formulate things differently? What is the impact of what I'm doing here? And impact on my family, on my friends, on my students. As that, I think they are ever so valuable.
Yeah, very, very valuable and totally translatable to, like you said, they're timeless. So totally translatable to any time. Um, so they're the yamas and the
Yes,
niyamas. I think let's move on to number 3, which is asana. Asana, if you don't
that's
know,
right.
that's the physical yoga poses and postures.
Mm, yes. It's also the seat, you know, the way you sit.
Um,
Asana is also this little tiny carpet that you sit on when you meditate. And that's
yeah.
also called an asana. Yeah, asanas. I think they are also important because that's how we can connect with
Mm,
everything else and mind through the body, because
yeah.
the body is the most tangible part of the 8 limbs. The breath is also tangible, what comes next, but the uh, the asana is even more, because we can feel our body. We know, what it can and can't do. We can uh, we can strengthen it. We can lengthen it, and it makes us just feel good as
Mm.
well. That's why people love asanas and this physical practice.
I think
And I
it.
think this physical practice is maybe now even more important because the, we tend to move less. We tend to be more confined in a space where we work, then we sit, we commute, then we sit at home. There's not much of, uh, well, it's different varieties of movements that people had in the past naturally, and also, yeah, it is tangible enough for us to understand and to to feel it and to see the effect before and after.
Yeah, totally. And I think there's actually lots, when you really think about it, there's lots of different angles of looking at asana.
Mm,
Everything I totally agree with everything that you've just said, because it's totally relatable. Everyone has a body. So everyone can you can use that as a vehicle, as a tool, really also for self-inquiry, can't you? So tuning into the
yeah,
sensations in your body and listening to your body and being really bringing you into the present moment through your movements, your sensations, that level of self-awareness. That's what I find really powerful about asana. And then also it's tapas as well. It's part of the niyama of tapas, which is creating heat and cleansing the body and keeping the body healthy and supple. And
Yes, yes. I mean, in the past, when you look at the Hatha Yoga Pratipika, the body, the asanas, they are all, or the majority of them, they are used for getting rid of any ailments that we have, and and most of them also aiding digestion. Because if we are not digesting properly whatever we eat, then the body has to do something with it, and uh, illnesses can come. So this physical part is, I think it is really important, as to stay healthy. But like you said, also, to look in, to connect to different layers through the body, to raise the awareness to how we feel. How does the body feel? We mostly have good or bad, or aches and pain, but not on that little deeper level, that we feel the energy, that we feel the flow of the energy through
mm,
the body. And it just helps us to be more aware of our the status of the body, not in terms of the value, but checking in. What are we today? How does the body feel today? To also adapt to the practice that we want to do, that we acknowledge that maybe we feel tired and we need to tone it down a little bit and address that, or we feel some niggling and we know we need to also be mindful of that in our practice. So for that, the awareness of the body and what happens within and how it feels, I think it's quite important.
yeah. In fact, I was teaching the other day, and just it came to mind that you start with your body, and it's almost like starting at ground level with the earth. It's
Mm.
tangible, earth element matter in the body. And then actually the more you go up through the limbs or through the practices, you come up and up and up more towards, the cosmos and the the
Yeah,
loftier
the
height.
subtler. That's right. Yeah, yeah.
Of the mind and consciousness.
Mm,
But you couldn't have one
yeah.
without the other, could you? You couldn't. Um,
No, if you no, you need the body. You need. We live in that, like you earlier said, this vehicle, and it is that vehicle that helps us experience all the different. Whatever we can experience as human beings, but also um, moving into the subtler energies that through pranayam, through meditation, through concentration, what comes a little further down in the eight limbs.
mm, yeah, it's super important, but I do still think, like we said earlier, that there is a bit too much emphasis placed on it in the West. Still starting to change, isn't it? What do you think?
Yeah, yeah. It's easy because this is what we can see, we can work with. Let's say you work towards headstand, for example. You make progress, you prepare all the different parts, of the body, you create the strength, and you create the confidence, you overcome the fear, and all of a sudden, there you are, you can do that. And for that, what was the question again? Sorry.
You've got a little tangent.
What with the body?
I think we didn't
Oh,
have
the
a
physical part, and it's important. So I think so. Sorry, got it back. So the physical part, it is important because it helps us to go into more confidence, to
yeah,
overcome fear, and that these are all transferable processes. We can these we can straight take into our day-to-day life, into our job, into our relationships, and maybe stand up for us more, or we there's something that we always wanted and we have never dared to do that, but if you can all of a sudden stand on your head, you think, well,
yeah,
I can do that as well. At least I can try it. And for that, it is super important that we work with the body. But then you're right. If that's the ceiling, the body, then I think it goes more into look what I can do
yeah,
rather than okay, it helps me. And then you can go into that same trap as you can go with everything else, where you think, oh no, I need to do this now to be good. I need to balance. You need to have this balance in my repertoire to be really good. And then I need to maybe let the world know this is all I can do. So if your self worth depends on the asana practice, and that's the only thing that you draw from it, then um, it is just as unhealthy as anything else that you do, right?
yeah, yeah,
So that's why we these subtler levels that come afterwards, and maybe seeing it as a means to um, that is also needed very much.
mm. Oh, definitely. And it really is, like you say, transferable. It's best to look at it as a tool. You know,
That's right.
asanas are tools, aren't they, that help us become, more self-aware, like you said, more confident, more in your body, more in the moment.
Mm.
Um, and also just to be in your body. Like I know some people that are so n- unself-aware and kind of floating around
Yeah.
in their heads,
Yes.
in their minds, and often they're very clumsy, um,
Yes.
and not grounded. And I'm sure you've got lots of Ayurvedic reasons, for these people. Um,
Yep.
and I feel like just kind of grabbing them and just gently saying, "Come into your body, like come into yourself, because you're so
Mm.
fruity and out there."
That's
Yeah,
right, because the body, or coming into the body, like you said, that helps us also to step away from what the mind creates, because it
yes,
creates thoughts and stories and all things, it creates urgency that we then blindly follow because we think, oh my God, this is what I need to do now. And and you get into that state where lots of people, when they come into yoga class at the beginning, that's where they are. They just rush
yeah,
there, they have in the morning, maybe just put the kids, get them ready, got them to school. Maybe there's traffic. Then they come and they're already rushed off their feet. But then when they go, that's what the asana practice does. It sort of takes them out of their head into the body. And then it allows them to see, well, actually, what was the big deal?
yeah,
Right. And to come from that place, then go back into your day-to-day life. then you meet other people differently. You meet people that want something from you differently. You meet situations that are maybe not as easy differently, and it just brings you back into that sattvic space, into that balance space where you can then act and think, okay, this is how I'm going to do that, and not what do I need to do to please someone else, or what
Yeah.
I think others expect of me. And that's what the asana practice does, and why it is really important, I think, nowadays, really important to take us all out of the head into the body, step back and say, look, do that hour, and then we talk again.
Yeah. It's like a reset button, isn't it? It's so grounding,
Exactly.
centering. It just pulls you, like you said, it just pulls you out of your mind into the body, into the present. And by the way, it can be as simple as anything, can't it? It doesn't need to be complicated in any way, shape, or form. It can be, like
No,
you said,
it can be, you lift arms with the in breath and you lower them with the out breath. And you do that 5 times, and then you already think differently.
yeah,
Yeah. You sit on your chair and you do a little twist, both sides, and you think, wow. And it is this creating that space for the pause, for
mm,
yeah, the pause of the
yeah,
mind, to come out of this, out of that whatever it runs into, to say stop for a moment and do something different. Feel into the body, get me into that pose, keep me in that pose, get me out of it. Breathe here, breathe there, because that's what it is, right? So that you need to have everything focus on the body, to stand in triangle, or to do a revolving triangle and get your balance and get your rotation and get everything done. Breathe, look here, look there, ground through that, anchor here. You know that there's no time to think of, oh God, I need to do shopping as well, and oh, what did this person say to me? And so it all goes.
yeah.
Right? That's why it is important, I think.
Really, really important. Um,
Mm.
I love this because it's so important, I think, to have these conversations and really look at it from all angles, because it could be so easy just to go, oh, asana, it's just about keeping your body fit and healthy. Ding dong, in a little box. But really there's
Yes.
so much to it, and it's a real, like you say, it's a real grounding point actually for the other
Mm.
limbs. The next one we're going into is pranayama. Pranayama.
That's right. Pranayama, breathing, and even more important, obviously, than because breathing is something that we need to do. We can stop eating for a while, but we can't stop breathing for, for just a few minutes. And And it also connects, the mind and the body. It's the breath that moves from one to the other and brings them together. Um, the breath is also much more powerful, I feel, breathing, than um, the physical practice, but also more subtle and not so easy to be felt, um, because you need to have a awareness of your body to feel how the breath expands the body and releases and where.
Mm.
And yeah, so hence, that's what I think. Is it on one level up? You need to prepare your body at least a little bit to work with the breath. And I think we need to distinguish between breathing exercises or breathing like the three-part breath, which is really a good. Yeah?
I was just going to say,
You
actually,
want
I,
to
I
say?
think I think we should also pause and just explain because not everybody might know what pranayama actually is. So, so Katja, in a little nutshell, what would you describe? Because there is a difference, isn't there, between breath work, which is
There's
very popular now, and pranayama.
mm. Yes. I think pranayama is directing the energy, the prana. That's the pranayama is the pranic energy, which is the energy of our life. So it is the life force that moves into our body and out of it constantly. And as it moves into the body, we can, or the body can do different things with it. So it can move into different areas. It can move up and down. It can move all around. It can stay in the digestive area more so. So it can have a downward energy. It can have an upward energy. So there's and pranayam for me is directing or learning how to direct that energy into the body, throughout the body, and with that, really working on stilling the mind even more,
Mm, mm.
because the breath obviously is what is now um, also scientifically proven is we breathe deep, the nervous system switches.
Yeah, it's so powerful, isn't
And exactly, so powerful and so fast powerful.
it?
Yeah,
Mm.
so no, and so the breath works directly with the nervous system. And the breathing, the pranayam, different pranayam techniques, they can make the nervous system also more resilient, can calm it down, can maybe agitate it a little bit to make it resilient, and to keep it level, to keep it balanced, or to slow it down.
Mm.
And the Yoga Sutras, they say, the pranayam is what lifts the veil, sort of what lifts the fog that is in our mind to see clearly. So that's the power of the breath.
It's so powerful, isn't it? It's really kind of
Very much.
it's kind of a miracle actually, and I know I've spoken this about this before in other episodes about the nervous system and about the power of the breath, but I find it incredible that it's something that we have control over. Yes, we have our autonomic systems in the body that we can breathe without thinking. Luckily,
Mm.
we can breathe without thinking.
Lucky,
Yeah.
exactly.
The breath. We don't have to consciously think about it, do we? But the amazingness of the human body and mind is that we can choose to change it. We can choose to manipulate
Yes,
and
yes.
take control of it, therefore influencing how our body, the state of our body and the state of our mind. And I just
Mm.
that literally blows my mind when I think about it.
Yes, it is. I think it is. It goes already a little bit beyond what we can grasp,
Yeah.
the breath, and what we can do with it, and we can put ourselves into different states uh, actively, consciously with the breath. And so this is something that my teacher always was very much adamant about, is to see that bigger picture, to that we need because the further we go into the practice, the more we deal with the mind and how we feel, and this can go into, or let's say it like this: the breath brings energy, and so does the asanas. They bring both energy. And the energy just goes into what is there. The
Okay.
energy is not just going into all our good, or the good side of us, it goes into all of that. And that's why the yamas and the niyamas are also really important, that we're becoming more and more aware of ourselves, our behavior, and what that energy does with us. So, if we want to take it for our progress, for us to make us maybe a better person, or to for us to help us along on our spiritual journey, then the body needs to be prepared, the nervous system needs to be prepared, and also our ego needs to be prepared, so that the more we generate through those practices, that they go into the direction where we want to have them. Um, if you practice maybe too much or too fast, it can agitate the nervous system as well. And the practice that was supposed to sort of help you and calm you and um, develop you, makes you just really agitated and cranky,
Yeah.
and you can feel it in your body, and you can feel really uncomfortable with that excess energy that is there, but it is not in the right places.
Yes,
And I
totally.
think from that, because yeah, so when especially I think in the Hatha Yoga Pratipika as well, so lots of practices are not really spoken about. There was always that notion that they are secret, and I think they are not secret because, um, or because they are powerful, and but they are, in order to work for us. Um, Everything needs to move along at the same time. So we can't just um, develop the body and leave the mind at alone. So we don't look at this mental um, side of us, what the yama and the niyama address.
Yeah.
Yeah, so in order to grow and to make that all helpful for us and supportive, um, yeah, all of that needs to come in, continue to see it on that energetical level, a little more, take it more serious, I think, and also have respect for these practices.
Yes, and I think that's so important because people can be very kind of gung ho, can't they, and throw themselves
Mm,
100% into some really quite strong, energetic stuff. Some of the Kundalini practices are very strong, and if you haven't got the guidance of a proper
absolutely.
teacher, you can you can get yourself in a spot of bother. Um,
Yeah,
yeah,
absolutely.
yeah.
Yeah.
So, and while you were talking, sorry, just briefly, while you were talking, I realised quite an important point with the asana, and we can really, as we're talking about it, we can really see, can't you, how they're all interrelated, and
Mm.
there's that you could separate them off, but you actually, once you get into it, they are so combined as part of the whole
Yes.
practice, aren't they? Um, just a
Yeah.
little point with the asana. Many teachers say that asana was developed so that people could sit in meditation to keep the body strong for the next step.
That's right. Yes, to keep the body strong to sit.
which I think a lot of people are just not aware of, are they? And then when you bring in the pranayama, working with those energies, as you were saying.
No, it is, it moves. That's why I said it can be progressive.
Yeah.
No, you start with the asana, and then you prepare the body, and then you start with the more structured breathing practices. But that's why I say, you have the three-part breath. That's what I think that where we started. The three-part breath um, is for me the base of all the breathing techniques. So
Mhm.
three-part breath is breathing into your belly, into your ribs, into your upper chest. So yeah, use these three areas. You can fill them in one go. Open those, prepare those is already such a big step towards pranayama, because it's not easy, and not everyone can do that so quickly, depending on how the body is as well, and
Mm.
depending on our awareness. So, establishing this three-part breath is already so unbelievably beneficial, that all of that calming the mind, that will do, and then coming into different, even Nadi Shodhan, what we see here in the West as sort of deep breathing technique, which it is. But for the Hatha Yoga Pratipika, it's still sort of a preparatory breathing
Yeah.
technique.
Mm.
It's still cleansing of the nadis, the finer channels. So even that is where we are, and this is what we need to develop, and to go further. Um, Everything needs to be prepared. The body, the breath needs to be prepared as well, and in order to go further to the next step, which
Yeah.
is
Which is well, before we go on to the next one, can I circle back
uh,
a bit? Because we did say, I'd like to ask you what what the difference is between breath work and pranayama. What would you say the difference is? Because there is a bit of confusion and people tend to.
there's a bit of a confusion, and I mean, I've never practiced breath work. So I really don't know exactly. I know it is a faster way to work through blocks. But pranayama is, as you can see from the steps that we have already looked at, it is probably a slower version of that, more developed. The body goes through certain things. Everything grows by the time you are able to do pranayama.
Mm,
Your body has already is able to is stronger. Is able to maybe sit longer, sit better in terms of being more upright, being more relaxed in that, so that the energy can flow around the body,
mm,
and mind is more patient, and can also deal with that sitting there better, because it is the awareness is more there. The patience with that awareness is there. It's not like we're sitting here. What are we doing? This is so boring. Oh, my arm hurts. When is that finishing?
mm.
And you do 5 minutes, and you think, wow, it must have been half an hour, because that's how it felt. Um, so that's why I think it is a slower process, with pranayama. It lifts the veil, so it means, whatever obstacles and blocks are there for you, they will be lifted and addressed with that as well, either with the
Mhm.
work on the physical body or with the work on the energetical body.
I think it's going back to what you were saying, because a lot of these kind of transformational breath work classes are around at the moment, and actually I did one on the retreat I just did. It was a bit like this holiotropic breath, and again, I don't know a huge amount about it, and that was my first experience of it. And it's, very powerful. It's deep breathing. It's a lot of holding the breath for a really long period of time. And you have these kind of emotional releases. But I don't know how safe it is, because I know some people that have had quite negative experiences, and probably because the mind and the body, like you said, aren't ready. That they're not. There's no preparation. You kind of go in. You do this really strong. And by the way, I'm not in any way saying don't do these practices.
Again,
It's just a different
no,
approach, isn't it? Because I think it's like
it's
you
a
say,
different approach.
pranayama is
Le-
slower,
le-
more structured.
That's right. Sort of pranayama also works with the bandhas. If you hold pranayama should, or the breath should always feel free, and your mind should be at ease as well with the breath. Hence, you have this slow build up. So when you do holding, you set also the bandhas, means you set uh, Chalandara bandha with the chin towards the chest to avoid pressure building up in the head for long holds, either with full or with empty lungs. And and you want the energy, the prana flow through the channels in a proper way, and that is all guided through pranayama. So if there are long holds, and we all know, I know how uncomfortable I feel if I have a breathing rhythm that is not in sync with what my body can do. So if I
Yeah.
hold if I hold with empty lungs, that's quite difficult. But then in pranayama, you do have irregular breathing rhythms that agitate the nervous system as well in order to make it more resilient. So you hold longer, you breathe in, hold all at all different times. So there's not this flow there, but there is this up and down, and a lot of thinking and counting involved. What maybe also agitates you, but to make you more resilient. And it is based on slow progress. When
Building
you
that
read
strength.
building up, yes, when you read Iyengar's Light on Pranayam, so everything gets really progressed in a very slow way
Mm,
in
mm.
terms of increasing the holds and the counts.
And really, that's just so much safer, isn't it, as well, to have that structure and that framework there and build up. It's like, or to go back to kind of a handstand scenario, trying to throw yourself up with no preparation, you're probably going to really
That's
hurt
right.
yourself, cause yourself an injury.
Yeah. Yes, or you have to deal with the aftermath. And
Yeah.
can you, are you? So if it leaves you agitated for days, or if you have an experience that is not a positive one for you, and sort of you need to digest that. You need to get your balance back because it threw you out of balance. And I think
Mm,
the pranayam all works on that, being more balanced and staying there, and yeah, taking your time. to digest every state so that you are prepared for the next one.
Yes, and now when we're moving further up through the body into higher realms, the next one is pratyahara. Pratyahara. Have I pronounced that correctly?
Pratya. I think
Pratya.
so.
When you read, it's translated as sense withdrawal, withdrawal of the senses. So we're looking at the mind now, aren't we?
Yeah, I mean, we're looking at what feeds the mind, right? Because it's the
Mm-hmm.
senses that feed the mind. And all of the Bhagavad Gita is all around, controlling the senses in order to experience yoga, sort of that more balanced state, because the senses bring impressions in through the eyes or the ears, then they resonate with experiences that we have made before. They resonate maybe with our desires that we have, and bring everything into motion. And if when we want to reach that state of balance and yeah, how shall I say that? Where we feel content on a just different level and
Mm.
happy, then the senses, they do play a role now
Mm.
in that. And the more we are, and now even more so, our senses are exposed to loads.
Oh, overloaded.
Um, And absolutely, so we can sort of overuse our senses. Also, in terms of Ayurveda, we can overuse the senses, what we probably do right now, and we can underuse them. Um, and to sort of bring that down a little bit more, this activity of the mind, um, working with the senses and sort of restricting is always a word that has a negative connotation, right? So we
Mm.
want to filter maybe more what comes through the senses, not thinking so much of restricting and closing your eyes and keep them there and closing your ears and not hearing anything anymore, but choosing um, with discernment to see, is that valuable for me? Does that movie that I watch right now, does that make me feel good or not? Is that conversation that I have, is that uplifting me, or is that dragging me down?
Mm.
Now, is that to see it like that, to be aware of the effect that the senses have on us, which is huge.
Yeah.
Without the senses, I mean, what would we be? And to just think of the effect that they have, to become aware of that it can, like everything, can go both ways. It can uplift us and it can draw us down. And if we want to go into that more uplifted state, then we need to slowly filter out what is not really construcive to that whole progress. And I
Mm.
think that's what it is with pratyahara, is that we are becoming more aware of the senses and maybe also challenge them a little bit. So when we meditate, we close the eyes. But sometimes closing the eyes is just quite a lot, right? If you had a really busy day and you're just everything is just too busy inside, so you can't close your eyes, sit there and meditate. It's not possible. So you need
No.
to let everything simmer down naturally. And a
Mm.
yoga practice does that. It guides the senses, the eyes, for example, with drishti. So you look at a particular point, you look down, you look to your thumb, you look to the tip of your nose, and to um, train the eyes, to calm down and to look at one thing and not, oh, there's some movement there, immediately eyes go there and look.
Mhm. So that's my next question for you really is for someone who is brand new to all of these concepts and ideas, what's the practical, because we've gone through, um, the main things that people generally know about. They might not know about the yamas and the niyamas, but they know about asana, and they might have known and practiced some pranayama. But now we're moving more into the meditation and the realms of consciousness, aren't we? It's like the
Yeah.
first steps to coming into the mind. So what is a you just talked about drishti. What's another practical application of pratyahara, do you think?
During the practice or at home, in your day-to-day life?
Either, whatever springs to mind.
Either. I mean, I think in the practice, it's probably easier because there you can set those. You look at because the eyes and the ears obviously you can't close. The eyes you can close, or the eyes you can fix on something. You can look at a candle, for example. That is very calming, and it keeps the eyes. But I always find it's good to start with bringing awareness into those senses or into everything that we want to do and it's new for us,
No.
to really become aware, where do the eyes go? What do they leave? So the other day, my daughter, she won't like that, but I'm not naming anything in particular, so that's fine. She had a nightmare in the morning. She said, oh, she had such a bad nightmare. She saw uh, the nun from Conjuring. I said,
Oh
"Wow, I
God.
didn't know that there's a nun in that. I have no clue about the movie." I said, "Did you watch the movie?" "No, I just saw a picture." So, this one picture
Mm,
that has been seen leaves such an impression in the brain, in the mind, that it
yeah,
then conjures, a story around that, or even a nightmare, or even when you are sort of in the dark or you're on your own, the fear gets heightened.
yeah.
So bringing more awareness into how these senses work, or what how we feel that, how we experience that
Mm.
later on. I think that is quite educational for ourselves, to see, wow, this all goes through the eyes. I look here, I look there, and everything needs to be digested. And if I look at things that I don't like, then these images, they do come back and they take me out of balance and they upset me, or whatever they do, again and again and again. And the same with what we're listening to, because we can listen to some classical music, or um, for example, I really have an issue with uh, I need to listen to voices, how people speak. I can't listen to I don't watch any movies where there is a lot of swearing, because I think I don't want to listen to that. I don't know why. I can't say, oh, it's so bad. It just annoys
Affects you.
me. I
Mm,
don't want to I don't want to hear it. It is the energy that comes with that. I think that's
yeah.
what you then experience, is that residue, what it leaves in you, that energy that it leaves, and it puts a little seed into that as well.
I think that's so important, and definitely as I've got older and I have really tuned in to what what feeds me and nourishes me, as in,
Mm.
so let's talk about TV, and to my
Yeah.
to my partner's behest, 'cause I like watching TV, I love watching films, but now I have to be really careful about what I watch because it really affects me, and, I
Yeah,
don't
it
want to
does.
massively. I hate scary movies, just no, um,
I am.
and and just there's certain things that I can feel my nervous system going, and I'm like, I don't need this. I don't want this. It's not nourishing me. It's not feeding me. In fact, it's the opposite.
Mm,
And I'm
that's
quite
right.
a sensitive person, and I think just being in that sense of awareness, it's all part of the practice, isn't it? Um,
Yeah,
Instead of blindly consuming, you know, everything that comes your
that's
way and
right.
then wondering why
Yeah,
you're
yeah,
so stressed out, you know?
yeah, yeah, absolutely. It really is that, and that's why I think we only becoming aware of that, observing, maybe taking in, choose eating your meal in quiet, chew,
Mm,
taste. Uh, this is gives you so much information, and if you continue doing that, you know, you don't want to have your meal here and scrolling there,
mhm,
like a robot. And the same is like with whatever you do. I wouldn't say not even restrict what you do, just whatever you do naturally in your day-to-day life, every day or every week. Week is, I think, even more effective. Choose one thing, one sensory input that you want to explore a little more, where you think,
mm,
okay, let's see how whatever comes through my eyes, how it affects me when you look at advertising, banners, when you look at whatever, reading, if it's work related,
colour,
or, or yeah, colors, everything, because
mhm,
it affects us. And just to
mm,
become aware of how it affects us, because then we can choose, how do we want to feel? Do we want to
yeah,
feel not happy, or do we want to feel happy? So everyone will choose happy. And then we need to, that's the power that we have, that we can make a decision then, an informed decision, because we have made the experience. We can say, I don't really want to do this anymore because.
mm.
And I think
Yeah, and I
that's where
think
pratyahara comes in, just becoming aware of the power of the senses.
yeah, and I think there's actually way more to this than I thought there would be, and, I'm really aware of time. It's gone, hasn't it? So I think if it just flies with you, it just absolutely flies. So thank you so much. But if you'd be happy, I think it would be really good to do the last four, come back to this pratyahara and come back to the last
Yeah.
three limbs in another episode because there's so much here, isn't there, to talk about?
Yes, 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 yes. Everything has just so much more depth than they look very unassuming, these one-liners there. Or when you explore them, or yeah. Like you
Yeah.
said, I think that's the thing, is not to consume, but to slow down and explore a little more
Mm.
and notice.
Yeah, definitely. And that can be and also
Definitely.
to realize that we can curate our living experience. I think now a lot of people feel
Yeah.
quite powerless and sucked in because of
Mm.
the old
Yeah.
dopamine, social media and everything. And when just to finish, we're not saying you shouldn't be interacting in the world or, you could just blindly burying your head in the sand. Definitely not. But um there is a way to listen to your senses, to be aware of what's
Mm.
coming in, what's affecting your body, your
Yeah.
mind, emotions, your nervous
Yeah.
system. Um,
Because
mm,
because I think this is the power of yoga. is really that it makes us aware. And awareness is always, you have that byproduct of making a decision. If that's something that you want or not, whatever everyone has a different aim in life, everyone has a different goal in life. Um, and it is not to put it into a particular, it's not for that, but it is for you, how you want to use it. And it brings the awareness. And the awareness is just that what we need in order to say, oh, this is what is important to me right now. And this is helpful. This is not helpful. This is not helpful, but I can't really avoid it. We also have
Mhm.
that, we have
Yeah.
things that are really not helpful and we just can't avoid them. But then yoga also helps us to be more, the ups and downs, these spikes, they get smaller and smaller. So even if there are situations or there are circumstances that we just can't avoid, we will deal better with them.
From a more balanced starting point. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Also that they don't affect us as strongly anymore as they did maybe previously.
Mm. So powerful. Amazing.
Mm.
Well, let's
Mm.
pick it up from here next episode if you'll be
Yes.
happy to come on again.
Absolutely, yes, because I think it is really, it's important. The yoga philosophy is important, um, because it has so much to offer, and all the books that you can read, they are all offering solutions and
Mhm.
tips on what you can do. They are not maybe not so easy to read, but they are manuals rather than um, sort of mental constructs. They are not abstract. They are very much practical.
Yeah. That's the beauty of it, really. If you look at it like a system, a
Mm,
very practical system, and there are
yeah,
no rules. It's just there for you to use them and integrate them into your life and feel the benefit. Absolutely.
that's right. And they are aware that we are all at different stages, because they always give options. If you can't do that, try that. If you
Mm.
can't do that, try. They always tone it down from sort of the, in quotation marks, ideal scenario to, um, if you can't do it, just do whatever you can do.
Yeah.
And
That's enough.
I think that's really so refreshing, and that's why I really like the yoga philosophy, because it is made for people, because from people, because you know we haven't evolved much in those
Yeah.
thousands of years. We still have the same issues. We still have the same problems, and they had then, and let's just do something. It's good, you know.
And that's enough. Well, listen, let's call it a day there, Katja. Thank you so, so
Yes.
much.
Speak very soon. Okay, take care. Bye. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you so much for listening to the Be Still and Notice podcast. I really hope you enjoyed this episode, and perhaps it even added something to your life. If you know someone that might benefit, please share this episode with them. And of course, a review would be so much appreciated. Please find all the information relating to this episode, including relevant links, in the show notes. And until next time, sending you so much love and light on your path to yoga.